Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Luke Ness Monster, and today we're going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Black Series clone Captain Rex. He is a part of the Bad Batch line. As you can see, it does have that nice reddish maroon color. Being part of the Bad Batch line, all Bad Batch figures have that color box art, and I absolutely love how that looks. Flip it over to the side here, we do have this nice mural artwork for clone Captain Rex, and I absolutely love how this looks as well. I'm a huge fan of the side of box art murals, and this Captain Rex is no exception. He looks stunning here, and I really liked how that turned out. Flip over to the back here, we actually do have his bio. You can pause and read it if you would like, but we do have another image of clone Captain Rex here looking super nice. It is number 6 in the Bad Batch line, if you were wondering. And yeah, not a whole lot going on this side, so let's go ahead and get this guy open and see what he looks like. So we do have clone Captain Rex out of the box, and I do have to say, I am a big fan of this figure. As you guys know, Captain Rex has always been one of my favorite figures of all time. This is just another version of clone Captain Rex, so obviously he does have a few flaws here and there, and we will cover those in the video, but for the most part, I am a big fan of this this figure. He does come with his nice soft goods cloak, I guess you could say, that he did have in Bad Batch, and I'm so glad they decided to go with soft goods for this this figure. For one, you can actually take it off of the figure, so you know, if you do want to remove it and just have a plain Captain Rex body underneath, that's something you can do, and I'm glad they decided to do that with soft goods, because that'd be pretty hard to do without soft goods. So another reason I do like it is it just allows a bunch more articulation and posability that you wouldn't really get with the hard plastic. Anyway, let's get this guy off the stand and take a close look at the details of the figure. So taking a close look at this figure, this guy does have a ton of detail and weathering, and I absolutely love it. I do really love the binocs as well. That's something I really did, I guess, enjoy that they decided to include that with the figure, as it wasn't really in the actual Bad Batch show. It was only based off concept art, so I'm glad that that actually ended up on the figure, because I love how that looks. Biggest problem, I think, is with this helmet. It's very loose. It will pop right off. Like, I can barely pick it up without it just sliding right off, and that makes it tough with I guess keeping it down on the head, because it tends to rise up, and then you can have a nice peek at his chin from underneath the helmet. So that is one problem that it does tend to have, especially with these soft goods. It has this huge cape piece right here, and that keeps wanting to push the helmet up, and that tends to get it to pop off. But you know, both the binocs and the rangefinder are separately articulated, so that's pretty cool. They didn't have to do that, and I'm glad they did include that. Also does have this I guess nice detail in the welding. I'm glad they did decide to fix the color with that too. They made it a more silverish blue color, as the old Rex was a bronze color, and the silverish color is just a lot more accurate to the TV show. Popping this helmet off here, we do have a nice Tamor Morrison head underneath. This head does look really good. Unfortunately, it does suffer from the shiny face syndrome that most of the newer Phototech faces have. It still looks amazing. It just looks like he sweats a ton because of how shiny his face is, but it's not the end of the world. The biggest problem with this is the cloak. There's no real good way to get the hood up. Whenever the hood is up, it doesn't look like it's all the way up, and you can't really pull it farther up as in it pulls the rest of it up. So you know, it's just hard to get the hood over his head whenever there's no helmet on it. So that's why if I have the cloak on this figure, I'm keeping the helmet on, because without the helmet on, the figure looks a little weird. But the cloak is removable. All you really have to do is lift his arms up, make sure that the cloak isn't really stuck on anything, and you kind of just pull it up like a t-shirt. Pretty simple, comes right off. Not rocket science, you know. It's just taking off a cloak, and there you go, it is off. And here is Rex without the cloak. Like I said, pretty easy to take off if you do want to take it off, and I think it's a great feature that they included, because original Rex is pretty expensive on the aftermarket, so this allows collectors that missed out on original Rex to get a version of Rex. And yeah, so I'm glad they did include the removable poncho thing. One thing I don't like, though, is that he's missing his pauldron. He has the little, I guess, neck piece that goes around, but he has no pauldron. For example, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, original Rex has this blue pauldron, and this one doesn't. So they obviously did that so that the poncho would fit over the shoulders of Rex, but I wish they would have included maybe like an extra removable piece or a whole nother pauldron separately so that once you do have his cloak off, you could always throw on the other pauldron if you wanted to. Anyway, taking a close look at all the weathering on this figure does have a ton of weathering on the front of him, and it's super dirty. It's nice. It's a nice weathering. It's I feel like it's a lot darker compared to the original Rex, as Rex has I feel like a lot more weathering. Bad Batch Rex is darker. It's a more grittier, dirtier look, and I like that, as you know, he's just gone through a whole lot more. The Clone Wars are over. He's in exile now, and I like that his armor looks dirtier. One thing I don't like, though, is his armor has a more of a yellowish tint to it, to where it doesn't really blend in with the rest of the clones. As all the other clones have a nice bright white color, the yellowish white of his armor doesn't really work, and I will show you guys that in a second when I compare him to the rest of the other figures. But one big problem that this Clone Captain Rex has is it has a ton of weathering on the front, but nothing on the back at all, and it just looks really, really weird. Especially the back of the helmet, there's no paint at all. There should be the gray stripe along the back, and they didn't include that. There should be color right there, and they didn't really include that. And like I said, I do have a full-fledged Captain Rex comparison video out on the channel. If you do want to check that out, I will pin that in the card right now. But comparing that helmet to old Captain Rex, as you can tell, they just missed an opportunity to throw in a lot of paint. You can also tell the color difference here, as this one is just like a different color of white, and this one just doesn't really match the rest of the clones. But taking a basic look at articulation, I'm not going to get too far into it, but his he does have those Rex elbows, so his arms can get super, super articulated. And he could T-pose if he wanted him to. It goes all the way around. Leg can kick that far up, pretty far, and then he does have double jointed knees, and he can kick back that far. And he could, I guess, get pretty close to a splits if you wanted him to, but like I said, I'm not going to get too far into articulation. First up for comparisons, we do have Captain Rex here next to the Bad Batch. I wish that the Black Series Bad Batch Echo and Omega were released yet, but they've been announced but not officially released, so I can't do a comparison with them. But here is the original Bad Batch, and as you can tell, Rex looks great with them, of course. He was only in, I guess, 1 or 2 episodes of Bad Batch, but like I said, he looks great next to the Bad Batch, and hopefully they keep on pumping out Bad Batch figures, because I really do like the show. And then here's Bad Batch Rex, also next to the villains, I guess, of Bad Batch, and that is, of course, the Elite Squad Trooper and Bad Batch Crosshair, or I guess Imperial Crosshair, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, I figured they didn't really meet up ever in the show, but I figured it would be worth the comparison. And then here he is next to the original Clone Captain Rex, and next to ARC Trooper Echo. And you can definitely tell here the color difference now. Like I said, both of these are more of a, I guess, bluish white, if you want to say that, as Bad Batch Rex is more of a yellowish white. And most of the clones are this color white, so the two different shades just don't match super well. So if you did want to put this Rex with the rest of your clones, it works, it just doesn't match the best. Also, here he is next to Season 7 Ahsoka and the 332nd Trooper. Like I said, I bet a lot of people are probably using this Rex as their main Captain Rex, since the original one is pretty expensive on the aftermarket, so I figured I'd do a comparison between Ahsoka and the 332nd as well. Looking great, and yeah, it does work pretty well. And then last up, here he is next to Clone Wars Anakin and the original 501st Trooper. Both looking great. And yeah, Clone Captain Rex here is just a great addition to anybody's 501st Army, if you can get a hold of him. He is a Walmart exclusive, which is very unfortunate, but he does look great, and I do love that rangefinder slash binocs. So yeah, like I said, overall I do really like this figure, but I think I'm going to have to give him a 4 out of 5. I love the weathering on the figure, it just doesn't get to the back of the figure, and that's a big problem, because compared to the original Rex, it does get to the back of the figure, so comparing the two, it just looks like they really cheaped out on the newer version, and that does suck. Plus, it does have a few problems with the helmet being too loose and kind of riding up every once in a while, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I do really love this figure, though, and I think this is a great replacement for anybody that doesn't have the original Rex. So, yeah, great figure, and I would highly recommend it to any Clone Wars fans, Bad Batch fans, or fans looking for a solid Black Series figure.